As we look into the noun endings of all 5 declensions, I want to clarify which of the macrons or the long marks I require. As you'll see in the next slide, there are a lot of long marks on the noun endings that are significant, but I do not require you to memorize them because they do not make a big difference in determining what case and number that ending indicates. So the next chart on the next slide is going to show you the noun chart with all the long marks, but then I will point out the macrons that I require you to memorize, and then the rest of them, it's good to know they're there so they don't confuse you, but when you fill out a noun chart for homework or for a quiz, I do not expect you to add those long marks. So here we go. So in the first declension, as you can see, there are 4 long marks. The only ones I really want you to know is this long A, because it helps you differentiate between that and the nominative, and then also between the neuter, nominative, and accusative plurals, and then these long IS's, because that helps you differentiate between the dative ablative plural and the third declension, genitive singular, which does not have macron. In the second declension, I'd like you to know these 2 O's, and then same thing, the IS, that long IS is going to be dative or ablative plural, whereas the short IS is going to be genitive singular. In the third declension, I'm not concerned about your memorizing any macrons, but I do want you to make sure that you do not put a macron on the E ending in the third declension. The third declension is the only declension that the ablative singular ending does not have a macron. The fourth declension, the 3 US's that are not nominative singular, i.e. the genitive singular, the nominative, and the accusative plural, I want you to memorize those macrons, mainly so you can differentiate between the long US and then the short US, which indicates just nominative singular. Same thing in the second declension. In the fifth declension, I don't expect you to memorize any of these macrons. There are obviously a lot of them. There's a macron on every ending except for EM. But again, those macrons do not help you differentiate between things like the long A and the short A in the first declension, or the long IS and the short IS in the third declension. So I don't expect you to know those macrons. Don't be surprised when you see them, but you do not need to memorize those for any quizzes. So in the end, there are really only 4 sets of macrons you need to memorize. The first one is this A, long A in the ablative singular. The second one is the long O in the dative and ablative singular of the second declension. The third one are these long IS's in the dative and ablative plural of both the first and second declension. And the fourth group are these US's that have the macron in the fourth declension. Other than that, it's good to know that there are long marks over a lot of these vowels, but don't let it throw you off, and you don't need to memorize them for any quizzes.